Yeah.
Okay, awesome. All right, guys. Hey, thanks for joining me here today. So for those that are listening in, if you guys could just briefly describe who you guys are, your farming operation, and then we'll jump into today's conversation.
Okay. I'm Glenn Sykes.
I'm Becca.
We have a mostly hay operation in southern Colorado, a little bit of cattle and some horses. Farming about 700 acres of hay at this point in time, and then ranching there on the side. We both do have full-time jobs currently, and just trying to get stuff moving forward so we can improve our lives. So.
Yeah, awesome. And you guys have been in Legacy Farmer for, has it been what, five months now, maybe 4 or 5 months?
I think right at 5, because late April, yeah, something like that.
Yeah, awesome. All right. So first thing I want to ask you guys is really what was not working both in life and business before you guys came into Legacy Farmer?
I think for me, it was really the biggest thing is just numbers, feeling out of control. Like we knew what we wanted to do, but we didn't know how to get there.
Yeah.
Babe, is it?
For me, I knew more of the numbers, so that wasn't really my struggle. My struggle was watching Glenn try to manage everything and feeling like he didn't have anyone to really talk to.
Yeah. So like this weight, like you could just see that there was more than just, it was more than just the farm. It was just the other personal things that come with it. Right. You know,
Right.
there's how many different challenges are you faced against or up with when like you're trying to run like you guys have, I'm guessing $400,000 to $500,000 running through your bank account per year. The decisions you have to make, that's heavy. Like, would you agree with that, Glenn? Like, that's heavy.
Yeah. Very. Especially taking over the family farm. With my dad passing, it just really, not only them am I taking care of our family, you know, we are taking care of our family, but now I'm taking care of my mom too, running that one, trying to keep that up and going. And yeah, it was a huge weight. Still is. I mean, it's not going anywhere, but
well, and then you guys full-time jobs on top of that, right? Still running 700 acres. Like it was a lot. And then family, kids on top of that, like it's a lot to deal with. And then keep a marriage on point. Like it's, you see how it just kind of compounds on top of each other. And then you kind of come to a point, and that's where you guys, I felt like you came at, where it's just like, we need to do something different. Like there's gotta be a different way to do this. Right.
Yeah. There's gotta be something better. We can't
live and thrive on arguments over
doesn't work.
Finances. I mean, we hated sitting down and doing finances because inevitably one of us would get infuriated with the other, and we couldn't sit down and do them together.
No.
Did you guys ever go ahead?
I said we sat down for 20 minutes this morning to discuss finances, where we're at currently, which, hey, not shipping, it's not real great, but we both walked away good. I mean, we were able to talk about it and have a discussion, come up with a plan, and that was it. There was no fight. There was none of that anger, resentment, any of that.
What do you feel like has it been simpler now? Like we're having the conversations around the numbers. Like if the numbers are good or not, it doesn't matter. We're having those conversations, but the platform is still there for you guys, Farmer Metrics, to like dive into those numbers. Like the facts are there. Like, what are you going to hide from? Right. Yeah. Like,
well, you can't hide it from any of it. It's there, but I don't hold it against her, and I don't think she holds it against me. We can look at it, we can see what it is, what the cause is. And I'm not going to say we don't feel personally responsible, because we are. I mean, there are decisions, but we're trying to make sure we're not making emotional decisions, which we still do some. And I think we probably always will, but it's changed our entire approach on finances. So how we look at stuff is so much different. I feel I think it's even on our personal side, and how I'm thinking about stuff and trying to be so much less just wish-washy on why I'm doing stuff. Is it really going to benefit the farm? Is it really going to benefit us personally, what we're doing? And you take the moment to stop and think, instead of just, I want this, it's, why do we need it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. 100%. So what's been the biggest thing that's changed for you guys? We kind of touched a little bit about the financial part, like your guys' relationship. What else would you say has really stuck out to you that's been the biggest thing that's changed?
For me, it's been the communication. Not that Glenn and I don't communicate or haven't in the past. It's made it a little more free flowing, so to speak. It's not as halting, or if it's a business decision or a business conversation, it's not one of those that you sit there and really brace yourself because you know you're going into battle for something. I mean, we've made a couple of decisions this year. We had to buy a horse trailer. We had to buy a tractor. And while for both of those purchases, there was that a little bit of an emotional tie to it, we were both fully committed to having a conversation of, do we have to have this? Is this something we absolutely need? And if it is, how are we going to make it work, instead of just flying off the handle when one of us makes a purchase or something and going, that was completely unnecessary.
Or having 2 weeks of buyer's remorse afterwards. I've suffered from a lot of buyer's remorse. I really do. I always have. And I think I was actually going to change my answer, because I was going to, well, not really change. I know a big thing for me is when we do make those financial decisions, whatever they are, even if it's, we have to pay this bill right now, or have to push this one back or whatever, because that's part of farming still. You don't get a monthly paycheck. But I feel like it's improved greatly. At least I don't have that buyer's remorse. I don't spend the next 2-3 days beating myself up mentally and telling myself that I'm a failure and I'm stupid and that I shouldn't be doing this. I don't deserve to be doing this. I have no business. That has reduced immensely.
Yeah. And
so that's nice. And I know that then leads into me being a better husband and a better partner with Becca. So I think that's been my biggest change and takeaway so far, is the improvement of how I've been towards her.
And then to add on to that is, and you still get it every now and again, it's kind of human nature to have that competitive edge, but we don't drive by the other circles and go, oh my God, they're cutting, we have to go cut.
Yeah.
That
has helped.
Yeah.
We kind of have it in our mindset that, okay, cool, they're cutting. Big deal. We're focusing on us and our farm.
Yeah.
That's huge.
You guys touched on such a huge topic that's so relevant in farming, because a lot of what farming is today is really a comparison game. As you all notice, like, oh, he's out spraying, I should be spraying. New tractor, I should have that new tractor.
Yeah. Well, and we have, exactly. And we have some friends that, I don't honestly, I don't want to use the word friend anymore. I've cut ties with him, but that's exactly what it was. He would text me, hey, we're getting 400 bales off of this circle. I wouldn't ask him. He would just text me and tell me. And then you go, what are you getting? And it's like, I don't care. You're running this huge operation. You have all this money backing you. You have all these brand new machines and all this money to play with. You're just being paid to farm it. You're not actually taking the financial risks. I don't care what you're getting. Of course, you're going to get more than us, because you can throw so much more money at it in the front. But that doesn't mean you're making any money, because I know they had a $200,000 loss last year. He told us. And they still went and bought a brand new tractor. And we're not talking small stuff. I mean, they have the largest tractor New Holland makes. They already own it. And he rubs it in our face. I'm like, okay, I bought my first articulated tractor. It's a 1978 model, and she's needed some work. But you know what? I've got it for the first time ever.
But it's nice because, I mean, we can come on to Legacy and to the boardrooms, or even these one-on-one meetings, and kind of have that vent session where it's just like, oh my God, so-and-so is doing all of this. And you get that refocus. You bring in that laser focus back into your own lives, back into your own farm. Which, and I'll be as nice as I can here. this coming from me is saying something, because I was completely skeptical when we stepped into this. I was like, I don't see the point of this at all.
She was a hard sell. She was a hard sell. I'm not gonna lie.
I remember that.
And
it took
to hear her say that makes me feel
some
good.
convincing. It did take some convincing. I remember that. I think we had, what was it, 6? What'd you say at the beginning? It was 6 months that from like,
I think it was 6 months.
Yeah. So there was definitely a process of a shift that had to happen. Yeah.
Well, I think it took me 3 different conversations with her just to get the go ahead to fill out the application, because she didn't see a need. And I agree that what really changed her mind was me having a community, somebody that understands, because she didn't grow up in farming. She didn't. And so there's a lot of things that, that I've experienced and gone through that she never has had to. I think she's experiencing them now in a lot of ways, but, just to have that community, we're not real good at making friends anyways. It's just not in our nature. So, but having somebody I can talk to, and when somebody's just yesterday's boardroom, listening to that other farmer, and he and his wife, and they both have full-time jobs, and their farm, and just the similarities, it was just mind blowing, and it's like, I've had that conversation. We've had that conversation, that was awesome.
Yes. And what you said, yeah. Because once you surround yourself with those who are like-minded, who aren't playing that comparison game, and you connect that bond, or see that there's you don't have to prove yourself. Like, you don't prove yourself here. You come with your problems, because you start to see that, hey, I'm not alone in these problems. Somebody else has them. And that's really where the beauty comes in. And I'm glad you guys have got to experience that, because that eliminates all this other outside noise. That's why you guys are able to go in and focus on your numbers and your operation, and not care about what your neighbor's doing. It doesn't matter. Great. He can do what they want. That's fine. You have different ideas. We share the same core values here, which is why the message resonated with you guys, but also why you get that value out of it, because there's a commonality within us, right?
Yeah, and the commonalities there, minus all the judgment.
Yes.
We can be on a call with some of these guys in California, or all over, from California to Delaware, and there's no judgment if we're not doing really well, or some of these guys are really struggling right now with the drought and back and forth, and it's just support. It's all there. There's no hey, you guys, that's stupid, why'd you do that? You never see that in the chats. You might see I think you could have done this, it might have been a better idea, that's how I've had luck in the past or something, but there's no judgment if you choose not to, or it is truly supportive, and it's not something you normally get from farmers.
And one of the things that Glenn has, and I did it when we first started, and to be completely honest, I've not stopped, but I've greatly slowed down, but Glenn still partakes in it a lot, is the stacking in the core 4, making sure that he has those tools, so that if he does get off on one of those tangents, or if he is having just a really crappy day, he can sit down and utilize those, and it puts him back to where he needs to be, or at least back in the correct mindset.
Yeah.
Well, I can, instead of sitting up all night worrying about it, I can sit and stack and get it out, or just anything like that. And I've got an accountability partner, and we probably don't talk as much as we should, but being able to share that with someone, and knowing that it's private, but it's not private, putting myself out there, really working to put myself out there, and so people learn who Glenn is, and not trying to keep up with the Joneses, but that you can make those friendships and those partnerships, and without having all that other stuff just following you around.
100%. 100%. So that kind of leads into our next question is, out of those things we got the stack, the core 4, community boardroom, what farmer metrics, like what is your guys' favorite thing about Legacy Farmer out of those, if you could pick?
For me personally, my favorites would have to be the accountability partner. I mean, Lindsay's freaking awesome. It's crazy how similar she and I actually are. And then the farmer metrics, just so that it kind of puts my partner at ease.
Would you, what would you say, Glenn?
I would definitely agree with the farmer metrics. I mean, being able to see that peace of mind, just when you can see that, see the big picture, the farmer metrics for me is just it's awesome. I never thought it would be that overwhelmingly big. And then secondly, it's just a community, just to be able to know that you're not alone. Have people you can go to with stuff and have support and be able to put it out there. Family issues, I mean, any of it. And you actually have someone you can talk to.
100%. That you can trust. That you
exactly. You can trust. It's not going to come back to the coffee shop.
Yes.
It's not going to.
Or at least not a local one.
Yeah. Well, even that, I don't even worry about that. You know, I don't worry about anybody in these boardroom meetings or Empire or any of it. I never once have worried about saying something that they repeat later, you know, that, or even in a degrading way, you know.
No.
They might talk with their spouse about, hey, listen to this and how similar is that, but that's okay. But I've never once feared about that going out negatively somewhere else. It's not even a thought, because I know it. I mean, it doesn't matter. Even if it did happen, it wouldn't matter. But I know it doesn't. There's too much integrity with everyone involved.
Well, and here's the thing, and you guys were aware of it too. We have zero tolerance for that. Like if somebody crosses the line, and we've had that happen before. We've had people that we've removed from the network. There's no questions if or it's in the contract. Literally, there's no tolerance for that. And because of that, we needed to create that space, because if we do create a space where one bad apple is allowed into the group, it ruins it for the entire group. Literally for the entire group.
Yeah.
Like there's no tolerance for that. And that is one of our values that we will hold, because we know what it's like when that bad apple can come. We've experienced that, how degrading it is to everybody else. So yeah, solid point there. Yep.
Yeah. Well, and I just really respect that, because I've dealt with a lot of that with my daily job. That's honestly a large part of why I have to step away, because of the amount of that I've dealt with for the last 5.5 years. Yep. It's been horrible. And I can't, it's not healthy. And that's why I've cut ties with this friend, because he was doing the same thing.
And I do want to point out that despite my sluggishness and my dragging my feet with all of this, had we not joined and had we not gotten the tools and everything in the community that we have now, I don't know if Glenn would have been able to have stepped away from his current daily job. I don't know if we'd have been in a position where he could have had that ability to say, you know what, I need to focus on the farm, and I'm going to focus on the farm.
Yeah. The confidence would have never been there.
Legacy Farmer has given us that.
Yeah.
Which I think really what that gives us is the ability for me to be a husband and a father. The husband and father I want to be, you know, not the shell that I have been up to this point.
Yeah. And it's like, it's so humbling to hear that, because like, that's what drives us, as you know, like our team behind it, like that's what drives us. You know, because I went through the same thing, struggling to try to build my operation, like went through all of that struggle all by myself. I had people around me who were not supportive, friends that were jealous of what I was trying to do, but were pulling me back down. And it's like that right there just limits everything that you're ever going to do, literally, because that's the people you surround yourself with.
Yeah.
And it can't be tolerated, and it can't go on like that anymore. Like there's a weight that comes with that. Yeah.
Well, you'll never get away from it. Never. If you can't force it away, and you'll never succeed. Nope. You'll never feel your full potential. It's just that way of it.
100%. So, all right, last question. So you guys were on the fence for some time, right? So if you were to give just a little piece of advice or something that you would say to someone who would be who, let's say they were in the same position you are, let's say, because you guys probably checked out the videos before, Glenn, like it took you a while to even fill out the application. Same thing as me, right? Once I did, it took me 6 months before of checking on network, like who is this guy, all these different things. It took me 6 months. So if somebody else is in your same shoes, because there's a process here that happens, what would you say to someone who is in that position that you guys were in?
For me, there is nothing out there. There's no other way. There's no reason. There's no good reason not to try it. Because even if all we take out of it, just the very bare minimum is like farmer metrics and learning how to run our numbers, learning how to know what our numbers are, even if it's just that little thing, still be worth it. And then you compound all the other stuff on top of it. I cannot think of one good reason not to.
Yeah.
For me, I guess it's kind of paralleling what Glenn had said. If you're at this point, things are already not working. So what is there to lose? The only place you have to go at this point is to stay stagnant and keep on dragging your feet, or to go up and take the jump.
It's a choice. It's a choice you get to make.
Making a choice to do something.
Yeah. And to know that literally that is your decision. No one's going to make you do it. No one's going to force you into this. You make the commitment to yourself that you're going to go all in. You're going to do something different that you've never done before. It's scary. As you guys shared before, like there's a lot of hesitation. There's a lot of hesitation. And that's to be expected. It should be. There's going to be this feeling of this is too good to be true. And that's where it comes back on. This is your decision.
Yeah.
Right?
But I can't imagine not making that decision. I can't, literally looking back, I can't go, well, if we hadn't done that, this is where we'd be. I honestly, I can't. I mean, it was a big decision. It was scary, but 100% go back, do it again, because there's so much to it. There's so much more to it, even than what you just see on the surface. Listen to the podcast, this interview, anything. There's so much more to it that can't even really be described. I honestly will say it's a life changer. Even if we didn't go again, we just took what we took from year one and went. I know it would change our lives from here on out.
Yeah.
I can only imagine if we keep building on this and working and developing these and using the tools where we're bound for, at least the door's open. Now it's up to us to walk through it, but it opened that door.
And you guys have been in for 5 months.
Yeah.
And
it's what's crazy is you say that, and we talk on these meetings of these people who've been in it for a couple, 3 years. And it's just like, wow. I mean, imagine where we'll be this time next year.
Yes.
Well, and in my daily position, my daily job, one of the things we always look at is, okay, so if we try something and it doesn't work, 1, what did we lose? And 2, can we back out of it? And I mean, building off of what Glenn said, and even that background, for year 1, you try it, awesome. If it's not for you at that point, well, at least then you'll know.
Exactly.
You guys don't have a contract that says, oh, well, you have to be with us for 15 years. Which that in its own right speaks for itself. You guys are putting your business, your thing out there, and letting it speak for itself. And coming from a skeptic, It really does.
And I don't know if I shared this on your guys' first call on, but within that first year, like you guys have everything here to become successful. Like that, it is our goal to have you guys in here for a year. Like, yeah, to stay in the network, great, that's one thing. But the knowledge and what I want to pour into you guys, like, is capable within a year. You got Farmer Metrics, you have that tool. You have the stack, those things that are on the side that you can build your knowledge from, the trainings, but everything is there to weaponize you guys to be successful within that first year, literally. To where, yeah, if you don't need legacy farmer anymore, great.
Right. You've done your job.
It's our goal. That's our goal.
But I feel like there's so much more to that beyond that.
Yeah.
I mean, those are the hard facts. Yeah. But there's so much more to it. So
there's always another layer, right? Another goal, another objective there. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just, it actually, and it's one of the few times I think in ag and farming that there's a possibility of hope. It's like, no, it presents hope. It presents the option or just the possibility for hope to exist. Yeah. You know, I look at where people are at who've been in there a year or two, and it's like, wow, it gives me the drive to keep going because I know that I can do better today. I know tomorrow I can make it even better again. You know, there's that hope and that drive. Yep. So you're always constantly inspired. It's like every week you listen to a meeting or you throw yourself out there and do a hot seat or something, and you just come out that much more invigorated, and charged up to go again. You know,
100%.
Sure, we'll say charged up.
Awesome. All right, guys. Well, I want to appreciate you guys for taking the time here today to share your story, share your guys' experience. This is going to touch a lot of people, so I appreciate that. So,
absolutely.
Thanks, guys.
Of course.
Thank you.